We go. Good evening, afternoon, everybody. I'm Angel Rivera. You see me, you see my cluttered room, and this means you're watching Angel in the Afternoon. Hope everybody's had a great week. That means today's Friday, obviously, and we got a lot. I'm having pretty. Try it again. I have a really busy weekend. Today's Angel in the Afternoon. Tomorrow's Pro Wrestling Talk. And Sunday is Angel in the Afternoon Sunday edition, 7 o'clock Eastern. I will be having a guest. His name is Joe Magaha. He's the host of a podcast called Two Cats in the Land of Dogs. And it's a Spanish speaking podcast for the most part. But, I mean, he also speaks English. And I went on his show, I think it was 2 weeks ago or last weekend. I don't remember exactly when I went on his show. I apologize, Joe, but I went on his show recently, and you know, and he'll be coming on my show Sunday at 7 o'clock. I think he's gonna be able to only do an hour, which is fine by me because I have to watch a Yankee game anyway, so I'm perfectly fine with an hour. So yeah, so I appreciate everybody watching and checking me out. Yes, we do have merch. Thank you, Steph. I mean, I'm gonna get to that right now. I have to do my shameless plugs first before we start. So, if you haven't already, please follow me on X. Fucking door. Please follow me on X, Angel J Rivera 08 if you haven't already. I'm sure if you're watching the show, then you'll probably do follow me. But anyways, just follow me there. My link tree description box below. Everything is there. Email, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Everything is there. So follow me, add me, whatever you need to do. Want me to be a guest on your show? Just email me or DM me on Twitter. All that good stuff. So my building has a horn. You just press a button and you just let us in. But I let the person in, but people just press it for no reason, trying to get in the building. So it's very annoying. So that's why I said fucking door. But yeah, I have to show you guys our new merch. This honestly has not been in the making for a while, and if I can actually, that's not what I wanted to do. No. Bear with me 1 second while I get this correct. Not that either. Here we go. Kind of. So, yeah, this is the INN merch store. By the way, I should probably put this in the chat because I should have put it. I should have put it here. So that's the merch store. Hey, Blue Moon, how are you? Have you been? Been a while since I've seen you or heard from you. So, as you can see, that's all the pro wrestling talk stuff. You can check out this beautiful T-shirt. It's available in every size possible. It's $23.99. If you're any support is greatly appreciated, especially since if you don't want to give money for in exchange for nothing, I understand. But now you can give money in exchange for actual merchandise, which is nice. This is the back. Look at that. Look at how awesome that is. And we don't discriminate here in INN. We have every single size from small to 5XL. So if you're a small person, you get small. If you're a huge person, you get 5XL. We don't discriminate here in INN. We love everybody from the smallest member of audience to the largest member of audience. So there you go. This is, I'm assuming it's a sticker. It's a laptop sticker, $6.99. Put my handsome face on your laptop. So yeah, so that's if you want to go with that, that's pretty cheap, $6.99. Here's a gray T-shirt. Same thing. I think I like it more, and I like both equally. Honestly, you ask my opinion. Again, same thing. We have all the sizes here. We don't discriminate here in INN. So we also have plenty of other merch from our other hosts. So yeah, if you just so I just wanted to let you guys know I do have merch in the store, and we all do. Every member has merch. Actually, I do need slippers, to be honest. I do need slippers, so I might just get this at some point, even though I'm not sure to have it in my size. But I digress. But I do need slippers. Mm, Get rid of that. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Just if you don't want that, I don't need help. Asshole. So yeah, so that's the merch store. The links in the chat if you're interested in getting any of my merch that just came out. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, any other shameless plug I need to do? I don't think so. Oh yeah, like and subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to INN. Like and subscribe to my personal channel. Those links are in my link tree and description box below. I'm closing in on 300 subscribers, which is not a lot, but I don't really plug my personal channel that often, so any support there is greatly appreciated. Please buy your pro wrestling items today. Yes, please do. Those are there as well in the store. Let's see. So, yeah, let's get started on the show. And unfortunately, bear with me 1 second. I'm fashionably late as I usually am, so I'm not fully ready to start the show. But I just wanted to, do my shameless plugs, and now I need to shamelessly plug the merch store because I have merch there. So let's see. That's for tomorrow. That's not it. That's for tomorrow as well. Didn't I save it? Yes, I did. So, as you guys know, what the show is about, they have pro wrestling at the hospital waiting room. I was surprised. I'm assuming you're talking about WWE Blue Moon because I don't think. Just let me just get rid of that. Yeah, you guys seen the store enough, so I don't need to keep plugging that. But let's see. Yeah, I mean Claudia Sheinbaum was elected the first female president of Mexico after a 200 plus year history of Mexico, or the Estados Unidos Mexicanos, aka the United States of Mexico. That's the full name of the country. But I did a whole research paper when I was in college on Mexico. It was like a 15-page research paper, and I was like, and this was like 10 or 15 years ago when I was in college. So yeah, I had an international politics course, and I did this long research paper on it, and I still have it somewhere. Maybe I'll upload it at some point, or look at it just to see how much I've changed in the last 15 years. But yeah, I mean, but I digress. It reminded me of the fact that I did a research paper on Mexico all those years ago in college. So let's see. No, not that. Yes, here we go. All right, share this. So Claudia Sheinbaum is a continuation of AMLO's policies, pretty much. She's AMLO's protege, in fact. I mean, that's what she was known as. And she won with 59. Initially, the preliminary count has it at 59% of the votes. To her other opponents at like 20, 30, 20, and like 10% respectively. And I was not, and I was surprised for the margin she won by, because I was like, she'll probably win, but it's going to be closer than that. AMLO is a pretty popular president, Mexico, even though we in the Western media here in the U.S. talks about how, oh, there's still all these violence and and cartel violence and all this other stuff going, uh, uh, female homicide rate is still up under AMLO. All this stuff, but apparently, he's still very popular in Mexico. So, anyways, let's do that. If I were just to do this, this is Claudia Sheinbaum handing the keys of the city to Julian Assange. This is once. So let's watch this real quick. She's.
Good morning, good morning. It's good to see
It's
you.
very good to see you too. Guys, how are you?
I think that's his brother. But yeah, she's obviously a Assange supporter. AMLO is not a nice word in DC. He's not that popular in Washington, so that's definitely true. And yeah, let me see. Let's do that. Let's do this. Did it? That's wrong. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty pop. I mean, the reason why she won is very similar to the reason why George H.W. Bush won in '88, because she was connected to a deeply popular president who was Ronald Reagan. George H.W. Bush was connected to Reagan, so he won. And now the reason why Steinbaum won is because she's connected to AMLO. She's AMLO's top protege, like I said before. So I have a few news things here. First, let me oops. Okay, let me try to put. Let me turn on the subtitles because I don't feel like translating this. So, is there a way to translate this to English? I don't think so. I guess not. But hello. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I mean, it's just there. Basically, she gave a victory speech, which I'm gonna have to translate for you guys because there's no closed captioning or no subtitles in English. So just great. It's a 7-minute long speech, but I was hoping for some sort of subtitles, so that sucks. All right, well, we're gonna have to go with it because, quite frankly, do what we gotta do, right? Do what we gotta do. Cynic Girl says, "Yeah, MSM doesn't seem to have a problem with her, which always makes it feel sus. I do like that she's on board with Julian, but yeah, anytime mainstreams are acting like they're okay with the candidate, I start to recoil." Yeah, I mean, I understand that point, but we have a situation here where I mean, she was elected with a majority of the vote. I mean, it was like nearly 60%, and she's connected to Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, or AMLO, as everybody knows him as. So let me just let's do this. All right, we'll see what happens.
Pusimos en el Paseo de las Heroínas, en Paseo de la Reforma. Están presentes con nosotros Juana Inés de la Cruz, Gertrudis Bocanegra, José Ortiz de Domínguez, Leona
Oops.
Vicario, Margarita Maza, Agustina Martínez Heredia,
It's
Dolores.
just her putting out a bunch of names of her supporters. It's not important.
Todas las mexicanas anónimas, forjadoras de la patria. Venimos de lejos. Este triunfo no es de ahora. Se lo debemos a muchas y muchos que han luchado por nuestra patria.
This victory is not just ours, it's the victory of the entire country.
Libertades y la justicia.
Justice and liberty.
A hombres y mujeres.
Men and women.
Que han dado su vida.
They've given their lives for the country.
A movimientos sociales.
To social movements.
Obreros. Estudiantiles.
Students.
Médicos.
Doctors,
de maestros.
teachers.
De campesinos. De mujeres.
Farmers. Women.
Y gracias también, espero que nos esté escuchando, a un hombre que nunca se venció, nunca se cansó de dedicar su vida a la justicia y a su pueblo. Presidente, escribiste un libro recientemente que titulaste Gracias. Desde aquí te decimos, presidente, gracias.
Yeah, that part she's praising AMLO there because, I mean, that's like, thank you, Mr. President. That's basically what is being said here.
Es un honor estar con Obrador.
The subtitles aren't working, so I don't know why.
Hace poco dije que el cierre del gobierno del presidente López Obrador iba a ser espectacular, porque el 2 de junio íbamos a hacer historia.
We made history on June 2nd. She won first female president. La, la.
Historia el 2 de junio. Vamos a mantener un gobierno del pueblo, por el pueblo y para el pueblo.
Our government will continue to be by the people, for the people. So, she talks about corruption and other policies here in a second. So. By the way, her cadence is just very boring. I mean, it's like that's why I'm trying to stay awake here, but it's kind of tough, to pay attention because how boring she is.
Garantizar todos los programas del bienestar del presidente López Obrador.
She's going to continue all his social policies.
A los que nos comprometimos al apoyo de las mujeres de 60 a 64 años de edad, a las becas para todos los niños y niñas que estudian en escuela pública y más becas, a más preparatorias, a más universidades, a consolidar el sistema de salud pública, a construir viviendas para jóvenes, hombres y mujeres, a garantizar el aumento al salario mínimo, a continuar con los trenes de pasajeros. Nuestro compromiso siempre, con la reforma que envió recientemente.
Yeah, that's behind. The subtitles are a little behind, but
el presidente para el reconocimiento de los pueblos indígenas y afromexicanos de nuestro país. Nuestro compromiso con el bienestar de todas y todos los mexicanos. Vamos a gobernar para todas y para todos.
We'll govern for all.
Pero como dice el principio humanista de nuestro movimiento, por el bien de todos,
poor people
seremos
first.
austeros, no regresarán la corrupción ni los privilegios. No va a regresar el avión presidencial.
All right, so she's talking about corruption won't come back and the presidential plane won't come back. As you know, everybody knows, or at least pays a little bit of attention to Mexico. AMLO actually auctioned off the presidential plane, so Mexico doesn't have like a presidential plane the way the U.S. president does here. Imagine for a second if the U.S. president decided to sell off Air Force One or to auction it off to some random rich person, which I'm assuming who bought the jet. I mean, the presidential jet. It's not like random poor person X in Mexico bought. Now, oh, please don't tell me that. Can you guys see me now? Because it's fucking absurd. Can you see me now? Okay, you see me now. Okay, yeah, I briefly dropped out. I don't. My internet's been giving me issues lately, so I apologize for that. I don't know what happened. It's just dropped. So yeah, we're good now. Okay, yeah, because I'm worried. Is like, oh no, because it happened. It happened on Sunday, where I was doing a show on baseball and stuff, and the stream just completely dropped and interrupted, and I had to literally remake a new stream and send out the links and just restream. It was so annoying. It's like, oh my god, I don't have to do that again. Okay, that good, so we're good. But yeah, she's I'm gonna have to reshare my screen here. Bear with me 1 second. Bang. Yeah, hopefully we can finish this.
Presidencial. Me comprometo con ustedes a llevar a México por el sendero de la paz, la seguridad, la democracia, las libertades, la igualdad y la justicia. Me comprometo con ustedes a gobernar con humildad, pero con una
She'll govern with humility,
profunda responsabilidad.
with a profound responsibility. This victory
del pueblo de México
of the
es
country of
el
Mexico
triunfo de la revolución de las conciencias.
It's a victory of the revolution of consciousness.
Y el reconocimiento de nuestro pueblo
And
al mandato de continuar y avanzar con la cuarta transformación de la vida pública.
President, first the poor's will be austerity. I mean, usually, when you see in the West, when you see austerity, is like, but yeah, it's meant in a different context here. So yeah, so anyways, Univision, they decided to do a they did kind of a resumen, or not resume. I just spoke in Spanish. They did a brief summary of AMLO's presidency. So I figured that we would play that real quick because you get the point. She's promising basically in 7 minutes. She promised to continue AMLO's policies, and that to thank him for his amazing presidency, and she's grateful to him for everything he's done in the revolution that he led. I have to sit through an ad, but yeah, I mean, Mexico is a fascinating country to me. I mean, it's a country that is not sexist but much more traditional. So yeah, we have so yes, please RT to support me. I mean, yeah, I need. Oops, and there's that link there. Thank you, Indy. There it is. So yeah, I mean, I've always been fascinated by Mexico. I mean, it's a country that's much more traditional. It's over 90% Catholic, and they elected a Jewish president, which is, or at least, she's not a practicing I'm about to say Hindu. Unbelievable. I'm about to say Hindu. Practicing Jewish person, let's say, but I'm about to say Hindu. Like, oh no, she's not a practicing Hindu. I'm like, Hindu. Like, what the fuck am I talking about? So stupid. It's like discombobulated again this morning or this afternoon. So this is Univision summarizing AMLO's presidency. So I'll translate when if needed, or definitely will.
Ganó por una amplia ventaja en las elecciones de 2018 con más de 30 millones de votos.
That subtitles aren't correct. I don't know why they're horrifyingly wrong, but we'll see.
Ganó por una amplia ventaja en las elecciones de 2018 con más de 30 millones de votos.
AMLO won by 30 million votes.
Y desde su primer día como presidente de México, Andrés Manuel López Obrador estableció su objetivo.
The first day of his presidency, he immediately instituted his agenda.
El plan del nuevo gobierno respondo a acabar con la corrupción y con la impunidad.
I promise to end corruption, and the people will be held to account.
Con sus planes, con los ahorros que esta lucha dejaría, financiaría su lema de campaña.
All right, the subtitles seem to be correct, so I'm going to shut up and drink my water.
Primero los pobres. Por eso sus legisladores aliados aprobaron que la pensión a adultos mayores fuera nacional.
Ese dinero.
This is he passed a older person pension, which here in America we would know as Social Security. So Mexico, it was expanded to every older adult in Mexico, that program. So that's basically what they're talking about here.
Que ahorita él está disponiendo para que se dé antes de donde iba, ¿no?
Según cifras oficiales, casi 8 de cada 10 de los 35 millones de hogares del país reciben directamente al menos un programa del bienestar, dinero en efectivo.
El Tren Maya.
Otro
a bunch of people now in Mexico, because of Lopez Obrador, they receive some sort of cash payment from the government. Like here in America, the social services, and people get food stamps, people get cash, or people get health insurance, stuff like that. So that was expanded under AMLO's administration.
Otro orgullo presidencial son sus grandes proyectos de infraestructura.
He expanded infrastructure big time. In fact, if you see, where is it?
Otro orgullo presidencial son sus grandes.
Look at these trains. You see this is a lot of the infrastructure projects that Lopez Obrador, did during his administration.
Proyectos de infraestructura.
And by the way, we in America struggle to get any type of infrastructure done. So, meanwhile, our infrastructure is falling apart. In Mexico, they've been, building new infrastructure. Excuse me.
Estructura.
Se comunicarán pueblos, se transportarán con rapidez y seguridad a pasajeros.
También se construyó el aeropuerto.
Those trains, Obrador promised those trains to be fast and they'll securely get passengers to and from where they're going.
Puerto Felipe Ángeles en el
That's
Estado
the
de
new
México
airport.
y la refinería de Dos Bocas en Tabasco. Aunque para sus críticos ninguna de
So
estas
he
obras
also nationalized the oil in Mexico. So whatever oil is made is owned by the government and the people in Mexico, which is something that his critics hate. You know, the neoliberals basically in Mexico dislike big time. So this guy is going to talk here. He's an economist in Mexico, and he's going to complain about López Obrador's socialist policies, basically.
ha funcionado como se esperaba.
Han dado descuentos las aerolíneas y hacen todo lo posible porque no se les enoje el señor, pero no tiene sentido.
Entre sus decisiones más
Basically, he
populares,
says is like, well, I mean, yeah, all this infrastructure and all this spending, government spending doesn't make any sense. It's just that's basically what he said. Because he's just trying to appeal to the people. Yes, I mean that is such a weird thing in politics when a politician basically appeals to the people, and try to use taxpayer money to help the people. Yeah, I know it's strange. Unlike the previous two administrations in Mexico, or what they would call sexennials, which is administration, because in Mexico there's one 6-year term. There isn't Mexican presidents don't get reelected. It's only one 6-year term. So yeah, but in Mexico they call that sexennial or their presidential term. But if I accidentally say something in Spanish, I mean it's gonna happen in this episode at least.
populares también se encuentran en mudarse a Palacio Nacional y convertir la residencia oficial de Los Pinos en un centro cultural abierto a todos.
That's another part of AMLO's legacy, turning the Pinos, which is basically the presidential residence, into like a park or something where people can hang out at and people are able to enjoy the beauty of the property. It's like, imagine for a second if a US president turned the White House into like a park or some sort of property Americans can go to and hang out and like nothing ever. Yeah, we're at the White House. That's never going to happen here. The White House has become basically inaccessible to 99% of Americans.
Todos, que sus legisladores le quitaran la pensión a los expresidentes en noviembre de 2018 y el rifar el avión presidencial. Pero como gobernante, López Obrador también ha enfrentado momentos muy difíciles, como la pandemia, que inició en marzo de
This is talking about COVID and how he governed during COVID, and so that's what this is about.
2020. Cifras oficiales señalan que hubo más de 511,000 muertes por el COVID-19 en México.
Over 500,000 people died in Mexico during COVID. So that's what she's talking about here.
Además, la violencia.
And of course, violence in Mexico. This is criticism of his administration. The Chiron says throughout the presidency of López Obrador, there's been over 187,000 homicides. It's the worst violence in the history of Mexico. So that's what the Chiron here pretty much says.
Durante este sexenio se han registrado más de 187,000 homicidios, siendo el periodo más violento en la historia reciente del país, aunque el presidente sigue negando la espiral de muerte.
No hay más violencia.
Of course, the president's denying any, extra violence.
Hay más homicidios que todo.
The president just said violence is not up. We just have more homicides, which is kind of a distinction, which is semantics. I assume most people would assume that violence and homicide is pretty much the same thing. No, violence not up. It's just homicides. I'm like, yeah, I don't understand where he's going with that.
Que todo el sexenio.
Y su alianza incondicional con el ejército le ha hecho ganar críticas, pues los soldados lo mismo luchan con los criminales que administran el nuevo tren, construyen aeropuertos o manejan aerolíneas, algo nunca antes visto. Y el exigirle a Estados Unidos.
The military, he's like closer to the military. I mean, Yeah, and the military is also building infrastructure, and they built the airport and stuff, which is people there. Some people are complaining about that in Mexico.
Estados Unidos, el retorno del exsecretario de la Defensa, Salvador Cienfuegos, acusado de narcotráfico, fue visto como debilidad ante los generales.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I kind of lost track
Algo
there.
nunca antes visto. Y el exigirle a Estados Unidos el retorno del exsecretario de la Defensa, Salvador Cienfuegos, acusado de narcotráfico, fue visto
Secretary of Defense was accused of drug trafficking during his administration. So, yep, there you go.
como debilidad ante los generales. López Obrador tampoco ha reconocido que ellos no han presentado toda la información del caso Ayotzinapa, a pesar de la promesa que les hizo a los padres de los 43 estudiantes en su campaña.
This is another issue where he never, he promised that he would find out what happened to the 43 students that were killed in Mexico, and that didn't amount to much because they never found out what happened to those students. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I know. Take what Univision says with a grain of salt. They're run by gusanos or worms. Yep, Latin language is a what? I mean, it's a what?
Que haya justicia en el caso de los jóvenes, de los hijos de ustedes desaparecidos.
Además, la liberación de Ovidio Guzmán, el hijo del Chapo, en Sinaloa en octubre de 2019.
Oops, I fucked up. But yeah, they were talking about the release of Chapo Guzman's son, which is
De Ovidio Guzmán, el hijo del Chapo, en Sinaloa en octubre de 2019, evidenció como nunca el poder de los criminales. Y también está la migración.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. Criminals have always run Mexico. It's not like you can have the same criticism of most Mexican presidents in the modern era. It's like, yeah, I mean, the crime's horrible in Mexico. The narcos, it's basically a narco state. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's always been the case. It isn't like it's anything new.
Que no ha parado ante las amenazas de
now this is talking about immigration to the United States and with Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, el presidente mexicano aceptó que los migrantes extranjeros eran en territorio.
This is the stay in Mexico policy that the Trump administration kind of insisted on, to leave basically these migrants in Mexico until their asylum case went through, which takes years because we don't have enough judges or anything like that. So it's like it takes years for a asylum case to go through.
Territorio mexicano su respuesta al asilo estadounidense, lo que ha saturado muchas ciudades del país. El sexenio de López Obrador será más corto que el de sus antecesores.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Mexican law has been changed because now AMLO's presidency will end on October 1st instead of December 1st. So, yeah, so that's AMLO's legacy. And, Univision, of course, they had to get their digs in. They got their digs in at AMLO because, and it's like, oh, yeah, violence is up. And, he didn't try, the narco state still exists in Mexico with narcotraficantes or the drug dealers and drug lords. And, they just took digs at him, it's like, oh, excuse me. So, yeah, let's see. So, yeah, Mexico has a new female president. The United States still not elected a female president and probably won't for a long time. Because who's out there? Who's a woman who's out there right now who can win the presidency in the next 8 to 10 years? I can't think of anybody. I mean, Hillary Clinton is not going to run again. I hope not. I'm speculating here, but which woman is going to become president of the United States in the next 10 years? Because all the main candidates for 2028 are all men. The Gavin Newsoms, the Ted Cruz might run again. Kamala Harris will run, I guarantee you that, but she ain't going to go anywhere. Excuse me. She ain't going to go anywhere because, she didn't go anywhere in 2020. And the only reason why she became vice president because Joe Biden needed to virtue signal about how, oh well, I picked a black woman, for my VP. What are you talking about? So yeah, so that's Mexico. I'm ready to go and move on. And yeah, as everybody knows, Hunter Biden is on trial. He's on trial for the gun charges and stuff like that. If you guys remember back in when the case first started, when the DA, when the Justice Department and yeah, I mean Ted Cruz is definitely going to run again once Trump goes away. I guarantee you that. And yes, I did get a new mic back in August for my birthday. So it's a HyperX, with the light. With the light. Very nice mic, and I enjoy it a lot. But it's yeah, I mean, so that's the mic I got, and yeah, if you guys remember, the Justice Department decided to try to do a sweetheart deal with Hunter Biden. If you remember that back then, this is like happened earlier or last year or earlier in the year, where they try to do a sweetheart deal to the point where the judge was like, wait, this is too far. I mean, you guys are going to he's going to plead guilty to misdemeanor. You're going to dismiss every other charge he has. And basically, the Justice Department is like, yeah, kind of. Is like, this is ridiculous. He has several felonies. He possessed an illegal gun. He's charged with possession of narcotics, aka crack. And you're telling me you're going to dismiss everything in exchange for just a guilty plea on a misdemeanor charge? So I'm like, no. And the judge actually said, no, I'm not accepting this deal. So, of course, they ended up going to trial now, which because Hunter Biden's lawyers isn't, that's the plea deal they negotiated. So they weren't going to do anything else but go to trial. So right now, the trial's happening, and everybody's testifying from Beau Biden's widow. This is Joe Biden's older son that died of brain cancer a few years ago, which Joe Biden claims over and over again that his older son died in Iraq, which is not true. He died of brain cancer a few years ago. So, of course, Joe Biden forgot how his son died, obviously. I don't want to make too much fun I don't want to make too much fun, of Joe Biden there because, it's his son, and it's horrifying to lose one of your kids. But at the same time, it's like he claims that his son died in Iraq, like over and over again. So, and he said it multiple times. And yeah, I've moved my mic further away because usually I would put it here, but people have complained about popping and stuff. So, which is why Mastermind, I've moved it further away from the table. So I don't know how it sounds because to me, it sounds fine either way, whether I'm here or my mic's here. But yeah, I mean, then we had then let's go to Donald Trump because unlike Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, they threw the book at Donald Trump to the point where they took a misdemeanor case, which is basically what it was. They took a misdemeanor case and turned it into a massive felony case, which I've never seen before. It's like it's like excuse me there, I like froze for some reason, but yeah, I mean it's like Donald Trump got the book thrown at him. He's charged with 34 felonies, and even though his case was quite frankly a misdemeanor, it was so obvious that even everybody was like, "What the hell was that?" I mean, it's like, and then they found him guilty. Look, to be fair, I don't really blame the jury for that because with the jury, basically they had no choice but to find him guilty. Because imagine if they would have found him innocent or they had a hung jury, what would happen? New York would lose their minds. I mean, we would have liberals and shit libs on Twitter trying to dox these people. I mean, you know what would happen? They would just, like it happened during the Kyle Rittenhouse case a few years ago, when we had when we had an MSNBC producer literally following the bus where the Rittenhouse lawyers were at. So yeah, and then the police had pulled him over. It's like, who are you? It's like, oh, well, I'm an MSNBC employee. Like, why are you following the jury? I covered this at the time. was I streaming then, or I assume I was, or I might have just uploaded a video covering that. But yeah, I mean, this is what liberals would do if they found. So obviously, they're going to find Donald Trump guilty. Well, talking about the Trump trial, there was an interesting breaking news thing here where it could affect Donald Trump's conviction at the very least. So just bear with me 1 second. Why is it not working? Ah, Jesus Christ. So the judge, Juan Marchand, sent a letter to both attorneys. So I'm just gonna open the letter here. So this broke today. So June 7th, 2024. Oops. So this is from the Supreme Court of the State of New York. Juan N. Marchand, judge of the Court of Claims, Supreme Court Criminal Term, First Judicial District of New York. This is an email to Todd Blanche, who's the lead attorney of Donald Trump, and ADA Joshua Steinglass, who's the main prosecutor of the case. Regarding People versus Trump, ID number 7, blah, blah, blah. You see the ID number there. So, dear counsel, today the court became aware of a comment that was posted on the Unified Court System public Facebook page, in which now I bring to your attention. In the comment, the user, Michael Anderson, in quotes, states, "My cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all your hard work." This comment, now labeled as 1 week old, responded to a routine UCS notice posted May 29, 2024, regarding oral arguments in the 4th Department of the Appellate Division unrelated to this proceeding. The posting entitled "The Appellate Division 4th Department will hear oral arguments this morning at 10, and the comments both viewable at that link. So we had a few days before the actual during a few days before when Trump actually was convicted, there was a comment on a Facebook page saying, "Well, Trump is getting convicted." So allegedly, how did this Michael Anderson know this? I don't know. I guess he claims that he had a cousin in the jury. So and everybody pre-decided Donald Trump's guilt, which is another thing about an appeal. I mean, they have so many appeals and stuff. And all the corrupt shit he's ever probably done, and decide to try him and convict him on the lamest thing among them. This shows how serious. No, Donald Trump. I mean, already they're talking about Trump probably getting supervised probation or getting some maybe house arrest. Like, there's no way he's going to jail. Like, I mean, they convicted him on possibly the dumbest thing you could find, as you put it, which is true. I mean, this is at best, we're talking about a misdemeanor. Like, this is like basically a clerical error, because Donald Trump took $100,000 of money and paid it or actually, Michael Cohen paid it to Stormy Daniels, and then allegedly Donald Trump reimbursed him. Even though Donald Trump denies this, and Donald Trump also denied that he told Michael Cohen to give her money. So, and the way that the prosecution proved that he did was through Michael Cohen saying, "Yes, I mean, Donald Trump instructed me to do this." Here's the issue with that, though. I mean, Michael Cohen was convicted of stealing $50,000 from the Trump organization, from Donald Trump. So he's a thief. So why would anybody take his word seriously? I'm not saying that Donald Trump didn't, authorize his money. I'm just saying that just taking Michael Cohen's word is not enough proof to say, yes, Donald Trump definitely authorized this and definitely reimbursed Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen took out a loan against his house to give. I mean, that's a weird thing to do. Why would you do that? Like, why would you do that for Donald Trump of all people? I'm surprised Donald Trump reimbursed him. I would assume he would have stiffed him, but I digress. I mean, Donald Trump, gave him the money back, and basically they put it down as legal expenses. which technically would be legal expenses because Michael Cohen was Trump's lawyer at the time. So this is basically comes down to a clerical error, which is a misdemeanor. I mean, he improperly, put on his business records that was legal expenses. And the assumption was in this trial that somehow paying Stormy Daniels that money helped Donald Trump's campaign. And I'm like, how would it? We all knew that Donald Trump was pretty much a man whore. I mean, he slept around every woman he could find, and you know, he wrote in his book, the Art of the Deal, where he took cocaine and snorted it off a hooker's ass. So we know who Donald Trump is. Everybody knows who he is. So why in the world would somehow paying Stormy Daniels this money help his campaign? It wouldn't. It wouldn't help nor hurt his campaign because ultimately it's it wouldn't matter. We know what Donald Trump is. He wrote an entire book about all his exploits. So in the 80s and throughout the 90s and stuff. So why would somehow he need to cover up one affair he had in 2006 allegedly, which Donald Trump denied even having the affair, but you know hmm. I mean, my throat gets dry so easily that I have a hard time even speaking today. But yeah, Hunter Biden's on trial. I guarantee you that nothing's gonna happen to him. Either he'll be found not guilty, or there'll be a hung jury, and the Justice Department will be like, "Well, we're not going to try him again because he'll probably be a hung jury again," and Hunter Biden will be free to go, no problem. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has like 88 criminal charges and they're all felonies, and he needs to go to prison for the rest of his goddamn life. But meanwhile, Hunter Biden gets off scot free. Isn't that isn't is that fair? I mean, there were people that I know basically saying that Donald Trump is just basically a victim of the elite in this country, and I'm like, yeah, but Trump is also part of the elite. The only reason why they hate him so much is because he decided not to do wars exactly the way the establishment wanted him to, and in Washington you have to have wars. I mean, you have to do exactly what the deep state tells you when it comes to wars. If you don't, then this is what happens. And if you run again, this is what's going to happen. Let's see. So the Fonnie Willis case is dead. If you guys haven't heard, which I assume you have, but if you haven't, the Georgia Court of Appeals basically, put a hold of the case while they're going to hear arguments about whether Fonnie Willis should be disqualified or not. So yeah, so that case is on hold. They're gonna hear oral arguments in August at some point, probably in the Georgia Court of Appeals, and then the Georgia Court of Appeals will rule some point at the end of the year or early next year. So if somehow Fonnie Willis isn't disqualified, then the case will continue in 2025, most likely. Maybe 2026, depending whether the Georgia Court of Appeals disqualifies Fonnie Lewis, because I'm sure she will appeal. So that appeal will take 6 months to a year. So maybe we're looking at 2026, the trial continuing. That's if Trump doesn't win the presidency. If he wins, then that trial never going to happen. The other case, the two Jack Smith case, are also going nowhere because there's for different reasons. So all of these cases, and my door just flew wide open. Hold on a second. There you go. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, none of these cases are going anywhere. This conviction in New York, for his clerical errors, Trump is not going to jail. Trump is not, and they're not going to touch him. He's not going to jail. None of that. No, it's very windy here. It's not really a ghost. It's just very windy. All the windows are open because it's so hot. So yeah, so when the wind blew, the door just opened. Because I left it. I thought I closed it, but I must have left it, halfway open, like partly open or something. So yeah, that's that. Donald Trump is, he ain't going to jail. So Hunter Biden isn't going to jail. The elite doesn't go to jail. They'll never go to jail. So let's see. Yeah, so let's kind of make fun of Joe Biden here, since we talked about more of the serious stuff. So what the hell is Joe Biden doing here? Because this is ridiculous. What the hell is he doing here? So as you guys know, Joe Biden is in France to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, during World War II. So he's in France. He's in Normandy. So he gave a speech. His usual mumbling, bumbling self gave a speech, but he did some things that are very questionable. So, like here, what the hell is he doing here? And what the hell is he doing?
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
What the hell is he doing? He's bending over. Is he taking a shit? I don't understand. What the hell is he doing?
Guests, please welcome the
And he's like, let me bend over. Like, what the hell is he doing?
Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
He's still doing it. And everybody, I don't know what it is. It looks like he's trying to sit in a chair. There's no chair there. Is he trying to take a shit? I don't know. And everybody's trying to ignore this. It's like, what the hell is the president trying to do here? It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I'm like, no, we got to stop this. We got to stop this, man. Like, as Steph, Steph said, last week when she came on, it's like elder abuse, and it is. I mean, having this guy run for president again is like elder abuse. So this is more examples of the president embarrassing, himself and the country. The hell is he doing here? He's just standing there. Again, this is in France, same thing. He has the old man look, the confused old man look. Like, where am I? He's like, where am I? Like, why am I here? Like, why am I here? Like, I mean, I don't understand why I'm here. Secret Service standing around him awkwardly, like, I don't know what to do. You have the dude right there, and you have the black woman there, the Secret Service, and they're like, somebody need to get this man because we don't know what to do here. Confused old man look. Like, come on. He's a confused old man. And he's like, he shakes this guy's hand, the bald head guy. I don't know who he is. And he just stands there. Stands there and looks around. Is like, where is my escort? Like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like, where the hell am I supposed to go, ladies and gentlemen? It's like, you're gonna help me? No, I mean, I don't understand where I'm supposed to go, guys. I don't understand. Just embarrassing. Like, this is the president. This is the president. This is the best we have to offer, allegedly, in the United States. This is the best we have to offer. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I mean, I'm looking for the next thing here, and so Trump's been running a lot of ads lately. So this is like the most recent ad that he put out.
I'm not a young guy. That's the secret.
Oh my God. All off the wagon, or whoops, nobody's there to shake your hand. Falling again. Picking his nose. Falling asleep. Anyways, Make America Great Again 2024. Give Donald Trump your money. Well, you can't see me? I mean, the sun is still out. I don't really want to get up, but okay, I'll get up. Yeah, Joe Biden is in, Donald Trump continuously trolling him, making fun of him. Yeah, you can still see me. But fine, I'll turn on my light. I'm cheap. Right, I'm fucking cheap. I don't want to pay. Yeah, I'm cheap. I don't want to really pay the extra electric, but I need to eventually need to turn on the light. So, yeah, Trump 2024 making fun of Joe Biden. And now I saw that's not. So yeah, this is a Turncoat Don video real quick here. Democrats unintentionally create the best Trump ads. This is from Turncoat Don. This is, he does some great work, so follow him if you haven't already.
For just the third time in the 243-year history of the United States, a president has...
Twitter, run by CEO Jack Dorsey, saying after close review of the president's recent tweets, it banned him.
The president's banned from Twitter, 88 million followers, banned from Facebook, 35 million followers.
More than a dozen companies already blocking or restricting President Trump.
For the first time ever, a president has been impeached twice.
A Manhattan grand jury has indicted former President Donald Trump.
Former President Donald Trump has been indicted.
A federal grand jury has voted to indict former president.
Former President Donald J. Trump has been criminally indicted. The sheriff has released that mugshot from former President Trump.
Today is the first time Donald Trump sat as a defendant for the actual start of any criminal trial.
For the first time ever, a former U.S. president is now a convicted felon.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Perfect. That's the thing with liberals. They don't understand. Like, they don't understand that this helps Trump. Like, every time they impeach him or every time they indict him for crimes, it helps him. I mean, it's like, why do they keep doing this? Like, why do they keep, it's like they want him to be president again. Like, no matter what they do, it's like they want him to be president again. Because if you go back to the Trump administration, all of these Democrats were making money. I mean, that's where the Lincoln Project came from. That's where the, all these liberal, like the ACLU, all of these like Democrat left-wing organizations were making money hand over fist. The Planned Parenthood, another one, because they were, they all opposed Trump. We need to oppose Trump. We need to, we need to protect Trump. We need to protect the country from Trump, excuse me. And we need to, you need to give us money. Wine mom liberals, give us money. And holy shit, did they give them money. They gave him a ton of money. They gave these liberal organizations to oppose Trump. Time's Up, the other organization, where they would hold powerful men accountable during the Me Too movement for their assaults against women, unless the name is Joe Biden, and then they couldn't hold him accountable. If you remember what happened to Tara Reid, who's a member of INN, she has her own show on the network called The Politics of Survival. She does it Fridays usually. I don't know if she did it today. I don't think she did. I didn't see it on the network schedule. But she usually does a show on INN called The Politics of Survival, which is on Friday afternoons usually. But I don't think she did a show this week. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see it. But yeah, I mean, when Tara Reid accused Joe Biden, all of a sudden Time's Up was like, yes, middle of election, and unfortunately we can't help you. Even though, imagine for a second if Tara Reid would have accused Donald Trump. They would have been all over that. It doesn't matter if it's election season or not. They would have gladly gone in and fucking, helped. They would have done anything they can to make sure that Tara Reid's story was out there. Because it was Joe Biden, all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's the election season and we can't interfere in the election. So I'm sorry, we can't help you. Like, it's such bullshit. It's at that point I realized it was just a partisan thing. If you accuse Republicans, then of course, we're going to help you. If you accuse Democrats, I'm sorry, election season, and, we can't interfere in elections and bullshit like that. So if you guys haven't already, please give me a like. I mean, I have not asked for a like once, and I just remembered, like, wait, let me ask for a like because, we need more likes. So give me a like. I greatly appreciate it. So, yeah, this was an interesting find for me. This is Tucker Carlson talking about how the CIA overthrew Nixon. So President Nixon coup exposed. Before I play this, there's a I'm trying to figure out. All right, Steph. Thank you for joining us. Anyways, yeah. I mean, by the way, so I have to go call my son later. See you tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's if you're a wrestling fan, you definitely will enjoy the show. But yeah, I am trying to figure out why would the CIA and the government want Nixon cooed. So Tucker Carlson makes the case here. I've seen this, but I still don't get why Richard Nixon was cooed by the CIA. Richard Nixon was pretty much a warmonger and everything they would want, you would figure.
Richard Nixon was elected by more votes than any president in American history in the 1972 election. He was the most popular by votes, which is the only way we can really measure popularity, the most popular president in his re-election campaign, and 2 years later he's gone. Undone by a naval intel officer, the number 2 guy at the FBI, and a bunch of CIA employees. You tell me what that is. And he's this brand new reporter. He'd never been a journalist at all. He's a naval intel officer. The famous Bob Woodward.
Bob Woodward. And what's funny is I did not know that Bob Woodward was a military officer until very recently. I was like, so he wasn't a journalist until very recently, not very recently, but at that point, very recently, and all of a sudden he breaks the biggest story of all time, the Watergate scandal. Yeah, I can definitely question, like, what the hell was going on there? Like, how did he get the story, Bob Woodward, when it turns out that he's a naval intelligence officer right before that?
Bob Woodward, we all revere, and he's at the Washington Post, and somehow he gets the biggest story in the history of the Washington Post. He's the lead guy in that story. Well, I worked at a newspaper. I've been in the news business my whole life. That is not how it works. You don't take a kid like his first day from a totally unrelated business and put him on the biggest story. But he was.
Why was that? See, it makes an interesting case. I mean, he makes an interesting case for the fact that Richard Nixon was removed by the CIA, deep state, permanent Washington, whatever you want to call this cabal.
He was that guy. And who is his main source for Watergate? Oh, the number 2 guy at the FBI.
Huh.
Oh. So you have the naval intelligence officer working with the FBI official to destroy the president. Okay, so that's a deep state coup. What else? How would you describe that? If that happened in Guatemala, what would you say? And yet the way it was framed and the way that I accepted for decades was, oh, this intrepid reporter fought power. No. This intrepid reporter, Bob Woodward, was a tool of power, secret power, which is the most threatening kind, to bounce the single most popular president in American history, Richard Nixon, from office before the end of his term, and replace him with who? Gerald Ford, who sat on the Warren Commission. Now, how did Gerald Ford get to be Richard Nixon's vice president? Well, because Carl Albert, the Democrat Speaker of the House, told him, you must choose him.
The Democrat Speaker of the House said that they wouldn't confirm any other VP but Gerald Ford, who was a Republican, who was a little-known Republican congressperson from Georgia, I believe. And he was the only president in American history not elected to the vice presidency or the presidency. So somehow the Democrats, the deep state, whatever, they plucked Gerald Ford out of obscurity to become president. So, and he was in the Warren Commission. So this conspiracy goes very deep, very deep.
Choose him. We will only confirm him when they sent the actual elected vice president away for tax evasion, Spiro Agnew of Maryland. So you have a complete setup, like an absolute. Gerald Ford, the only unelected president in American history, actually sat on the Warren Commission. Something else that I accepted at face value until I looked at it, I was like, that's completely insane. You didn't want to interview Jack Ruby in your investigation of the assassination? Okay, you're...
Yeah, the Warren Commission never interviewed Jack Ruby, and I'm like, and I can get into the Kennedy assassination, because you can go down the rabbit hole with that for a long time. It's like it goes from the fact that the Warren Commission basically put out the magic bullet theory, which is the only time I've ever seen a bullet do this. Basically do this. Like, that's the only time in history where I've seen they claim the bullet did this, that, and somehow hit Kennedy. Like, it's like I've never seen, no bullet's ever done that before or since. So it's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like, no, bullets don't turn like that. It doesn't work. It makes no sense. But somehow the Warren Commission, and people believe, and people bought that. Like, yeah, no bullet can do that. And it was just it's so absurd. It's unbelievable people buy this.
Yeah, you're fake. Yeah, he was on the Warren Commission. And so, sorry for the long story, but the point is, like, that happened in front of all of us, but the way it was framed cloaked the obvious reality of it. The people who broke into the Watergate office building, from which the name is taken, Watergate, I think it was 6 of them or 7 of them, all but one was a CIA employee. That's real. It's like, look it up on Google.
And most of the and one of them was, what's his face? Who was the CIA agent that went to prison over Watergate? Why am I forgetting his name? Shit. The hell was his name? The CIA agent that went to prison for the Watergate break-in. Oops, E. Howard Hunt. That's who that is. E. Howard Hunt. He's the one that testified in front of the commission, and he went to prison for a few years. And what was interesting about E. Howard Hunt was he passed away, and when he passed away, he did him and his son did tapes, a bunch of tapes, which allegedly E. Howard Hunt said that he was involved in the Kennedy assassination, that he was basically the backup, that he and 2 other people were the backups, just in case, people actually planned, people supposed to kill him didn't, they would be the backups. They were there as, more like backup. So it was E. Howard Hunt. It was 2 other dudes. The 2 hobos. If you remember the photos with when they arrested the 3 hobos, the homeless guys, one of them looks just like E. Howard Hunt. Have you guys ever seen this photo? You know what I'm talking about. The one in the back, it looks like E. Howard Hunt, exactly like him. And E. Howard Hunt, of course, look, he's in his deathbed, Who knows if it's actually true or not? We're assuming that it is. But I did see that photo, and it looks just like E. Howard Hunt. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. Oh my God. ATILN. Oops. Not hobo. It's called the 3 Tramps, they actually called them. Let me see. That's not a good photo. There was a better one that I saw. Where is it? Here it is. This is a really small one, though. Damn it. I'm trying to find like a bigger version of that photo. Is this it? No. Damn it! I can't find that photo. I mean, actually I found it, but it's like really small that you can't really. I'm trying to show. Uh, where is it? Like, ah, ah, no. You know what? I'm gonna show you guys this. Like, see this dude. See the dude there in the back? Him. That looks just like E. Howard Hunt. I mean, to me at least. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that dude right there in the back, like, yeah, that dude right there. You guys can see him, like, right there. That looks just like E. Howard Hunt to me. So I remember the first time I heard of this, no, I wasn't on anything. I saw it on Jesse Ventura's show, Conspiracy Theory, where they were investigating a Kennedy assassination. And there was, and Jesse Ventura happened to come across E. Howard Hunt's son, or at least they was contacted by him, and there were all these tapes of E. Howard Hunt's son made all it that had his dad, talk about everything he did in the CIA, which included the Watergate thing and included the Kennedy assassination. I think he called himself the backup for the big event, which was code for the Kennedy assassination. So he was backup for the big event. And when they arrested the three tramps, or AKA homeless dudes, E. Howard Hunt was among them, or at least he claims. And that looks just like him, the guy in the back there. I'm sorry. I mean, I tend to believe the story, maybe because, I'm kind of biased there because I want to believe the story. But yeah, it's like that's looks just like E. Howard Hunt. And people, I don't know, people didn't make the connection until very recently. It's what was E. Howard Hunt doing there? Then if let's go to George H.W. Bush. He all of a sudden calls the FBI field office from Texas, somewhere in Texas, when Kennedy was assassinated, and gives a statement, like, for no reason. Like, nobody asked George H.W. Bush for a statement, but he gave it anyways. So what, was he involved too? I mean, he was, at the time, he was in the CIA, I think. He was in the CIA, Bush Sr. So yeah, there's so much to get into when it comes to the Kennedy assassination that, I mean, you can do an entire 2-hour episode and, not get through everything. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to wrap up here. Got nothing else to talk about. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you like the video, the stream. Please subscribe. Excuse me. And make sure you check out my merch in the INN store. I mean, I put that, maybe if, if you guys want to pick up something, I greatly appreciate it. The link's in the chat. I'm going to start putting the link in the description for the future streams, but yeah, let me see here. Yeah, it's all over the place. So there's a link. Check it out. You guys want to buy something, please do. No pressure, of course, because I'm not expecting anyone to actually do it. But, I mean, I like the t-shirts and stuff we got. So, yeah, I mean, I got nothing else to say. So I would rather, if you want to see me ramble for the next 10 minutes. But other than that, I mean, please follow me on Twitter. I am at Angel J Rivera 08 if you haven't already. Please like, please subscribe, please check out the store. If you're so inclined to get something, I would greatly appreciate it. Maybe there's something else I can talk about, because I have to look through my bookmarks here. I forgot about this. I'm glad I kind of came across this because it was like I meant to talk about this, but so oops. Here we go. AOC decided to AOC decided to put out ads. She's running for re-election again, even though she's going to be the modern day Nancy Pelosi. She is. I mean, she's got the next 20 or 30 years. We're going to be stuck with AOC. Acting like Nancy Pelosi and giving away all this money and controlling the party. She'll be Speaker of the House one day, unless she tries to run for president. But as of now, so this is her most recent ad. The cynics will tell you that one vote won't change anything because it won't. But what they don't tell you is nothing can change without a vote. Yeah, but nothing ever changes. So what's the point of voting? The truth is, the world doesn't belong to the cynics. It's up to us. New York, the primary is June 25th. Well, she definitely win. I mean, because who's running against her in her district?
The cynics will tell you one vote doesn't change anything. But what they don't tell you is that nothing can change without a vote. A vote that isn't bought by Wall Street or lobbyists. A vote for guaranteed health care for every American. A vote to stand for our reproductive freedom and our civil rights.
Yeah, nobody cares.
A vote to fight for a New York we can actually afford.
We haven't done anything to make New York more affordable.
You see, people like us were never supposed to run for office.
You shouldn't have run for
And
office.
according to the cynics, we were definitely not supposed to win. But change isn't up to the cynics. It's up to us.
Yeah, change is up to us.
The cynics will tell you one vote doesn't change anything.
The fuck up. But yeah, I mean, change is up to us. Up to us, even though I couldn't give a shit about AOC. And that's the number one legacy of the Justice Democrats. I mean, it's like, hey, we got AOC and Cori Bush and the other one and the other one. Why am I forgetting your names? I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. They're all useless pretty much. So, yeah. So that'll do it for this episode this time because I got nothing else to say tonight. And, I appreciate everyone for joining me and hanging out in the chat and, being part of the show. Please give me a like. Please subscribe. Please check out the INN store when you get a chance. If you're so inclined to purchase something, greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Talk at 8 Eastern if you're a wrestling fan. And I'm definitely going to see a lot of you guys on Sunday at 7 when I interview Joe Magaha of the Two Cats and Atlanta Dogs podcast, which is mostly in Spanish. But, I mean, they also do some English episodes. So those links will be in the description for him. And I'm going to see you guys throughout the weekend. I'll be here Saturday and Sunday. So see you next week. Yeah, see you next week for Angel in the afternoon. See you tomorrow and Sunday for my other shows. Have a nice weekend, everybody, if you don't watch tomorrow or Sunday, and I'll see you guys next week.